Hi and welcome. In this video I'm going to be making this little project. Can you guess what it is? I'll show you at the end of the video in case you don't know what it is. The pattern comes from Woodcraft, so I have this printed. I'm going to be using scrap wood for this. Here's a piece of pine. Here's actually a baseboard which I got rid of the white paint. Here's a piece of cedar fence picket and a piece of alder. So we'll try to make them all out of that. For the pattern, just going to be using some carbon paper to transfer to the wood. So just put it over the wood, put the pattern, make sure it fits on it, and then just using mechanical pencil without the lead, you could just trace it. So here's the first one trace. I'll do the same for the other boards. So here I have all the pieces with the pattern traced onto it. Note, you just don't want to use too thick material for this because you want to be able to hold it. So now I'll just cut these to size. Then you could use a bandsaw or scroll saw or jigsaw, whichever you prefer. I think I'll be using my scroll saw as I think that provides the cleanest cut. So I'll start cutting. Remember, safety glasses always. So I'll just turn it on and start to do the cutting of the pattern. So here's the first one cut. I can try the bandsaw next with one, but I think the blade might be a little bit too thick, but I'll just give it a shot. Doable on the bandsaw, but I think we just need a finer blade to do the curves better. So I prefer to use a scroll saw right now, or get a much finer saw blade for the bandsaw. So here's the one from the cedar picket. So offline, I'll just cut the other two. I now have 5 of them cut out, 1 from the piece of pine, 2 from the pine baseboard molding, 1 from a fence picket, and 1 from alder. So now we'll just do a little bit of sanding. So sanding is just a little bit faster with the detail sander. So I did all of them there, and now I'll just do a little bit of surface sanding. For these to feel a little bit better, I'll round over. You could do that sanding, but I'll just use a round over bit in the router table. So I've installed a small round over bit into the router table, so now I'll get started by rounding the edges. So here's the first one with the round over. Probably do a little bit more sanding, and then they'll be ready to either stain or put a clear finish. So I'll continue with the other 4. 5 are ready to be finished. I think this one I'll just do a clear coat, and the other 4 I'll put a dark stain. So let's get started with that. So now we can just wipe off some of the excess. So here they are. Like I said, 4 stained. You can see different wood species. The stain looks different. And then the last one will be just the clear finish to show. So I'll let these dry and do the clear finish probably late tonight or tomorrow. So now that the stain is dry, I'm going to apply some poly. I'm just using the Cricut sprayer for this. You could use a spray can, or you can brush it on, whatever you like. For now, I'm just going to do this. And we'll do a couple of coats of that, and the project will be done. So we'll let that dry, and I'll do at least 1 or 2 more coats. So the poly is dried. I've put on about 3 coats on each. As you can see with the stain, using different species of wood, they look different. And then the one with just a clear finish. Have you guessed what they're used for? If not, a hint is they're used in the kitchen. I'll go now in the kitchen to demonstrate. Now in the kitchen, and this thing is called an oven squirrel. And how you use it is to pull the racks. You grab the rack, when it's hot, pull it out. When you're done, push it in. So it's a simple project you can use to use up some scraps, be a great stocking stuffer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.